Thanks for joining Sales with Suli, a mom of three who spent the last 12 summers knocking doors. Welcome to my podcast where I talk about all things women, the ups and downs of my journey, and what it takes to find success on and off the doors. Enjoy this episode. Welcome back to this week's episode. I am just so grateful for the door-to-door space and for social media, just because of how many of you women that I've been able to meet because of social media that I never would have met otherwise. And one of those people that I have this week that I've been following for a while is Emily. I've just been like super stoked and pumped just watching your presence and how you handle your teams and different things like that I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to have so many gold nuggets to be able to share with women in the door-to-door space. And so thank you so much for taking the time to literally fly out here to come and be on this show. I'm like super honored that you made this time. But go ahead and introduce yourself and give us a little bit of background about you, Emily, and how did you get into the door-to-door space?
Yeah, so I really appreciate you guys inviting me out to Salt Lake, Utah as well. It's my first time out here, so I'm really excited.
I'm so stoked.
And so I've actually been in the door-to-door industry since 2019. I got recruited my sophomore year of college.
Really? Like how?
I was actually just walking across my campus. They have like the little Cub Center where all the students, get together and they get lunch.
Okay.
They have other tabling like sessions happening for other companies.
Okay.
And I came across Ulta Marketing, which is a privately owned pest control company. And just hearing the experience that those people were having with their like history in door-to-door, it got me very interested, just wanting to chase the experience as well.
That is awesome. So how old are you? What has it been like for you, like being in this space? Because obviously like you've grown, you must have done something massive to be able to be where you're at right now in door-to-door.
Yeah, so I'm currently 23, about to be 24 in March.
You're 23?
Yeah, I'm 23. When I first got into the industry, I was actually 19.
Oh my God. Okay. Your very first summer at 19 years old, knowing nobody on your team, how'd your first summer go?
My first summer, it was scary, but it was very impactful. I was actually the only female in my entire company and on my sales team. So in your
entire company?
Yeah, so it was
at 19 years old.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was very intimidating at first.
Yeah.
But I realized I really strive in those environments where there aren't a lot of females, and I really want to bring that energy to the table and into the industry, and I saw that opportunity.
I am so stoked. So tell me, like, what were some of the challenges that you felt like your very first year at only 19 years old that you kind of had to face being in the space?
I think the biggest challenge, at least for me, was comparing my skill sets to the guys around me just because I was the only female on the team and within the company.
Yeah.
So I felt like at first there was a lot of comparison, like between numbers and what I was saying or how I was supposed to act compared to how these guys were also acting like on the doors. But what I found through that was females and guys, they all have their different niches that they can use on the doors.
Yes, and I feel like we definitely have ours. Just because being on the doors, I feel like people are going to listen to us a little bit more, but it doesn't mean that our colleagues are going to listen to us a little bit more. So how have you been able to kind of earn respect or overcome some of those challenges as far as like leadership in the space or in your personal company?
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of it comes from just the numbers that you're putting out there.
Okay.
This industry, what I love about it is, your work is shown through, what the numbers that you're putting out and the work that you're putting into the industry as well as the work that you're putting outside of the industry. So
I love that. What did you do like your first year in comparison to now? So like what was your progression in like your stats and in your numbers?
Yeah, so my first summer I actually sold $50,000 in revenue.
Holy cow.
So a little bit lower than where we were at this past summer, but we were also pricing a little bit lower as well back in 2019.
Oh, yeah.
My second summer, it went up to I sold $70K in revenue, and then My third summer, I hit 150K, and then this past summer, I hit 300K.
You did 300K this year, but weren't you also managing a team?
I was managing my first sales team for the first time, so that was pretty exciting and scary at the same time.
Yeah. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. So I was talking to Mike O'Donnell the other day, and even just some other people in this space, like being a female and recruiting guys and men and trying to like get that respect. It's definitely one of the challenges, but doable when you have like the stats and the records to prove it. How were you able to successfully like run your team, and what were the challenges that you like ran into this year?
I think the biggest success that came from managing a team for the first time just came from like having my reps' best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Just aligning their vision with what we were also offering through the company and through the summer, and just making sure my reps had the best summer of their life.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then
Go ahead.
through that, a lot of the leadership and respect, at least I feel like a lot of it came from just doing the tasks 100% and leading the pack from the front, and always being the first one on the door and always being the last one on the door as well.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest thing for those of you women in the space who are wanting to move up in leadership. Fortunately and unfortunately, we have to be the hardest workers in the room on a regular basis. But for you, like how did you get into running a team? Like, I know that there is plenty of women in the space who are like, okay, I've already finished my first summer. I do want to manage. Like, where do I start when it comes to recruiting, and how do I do it? So like, what are some of your tips and some of your advice for those of us women who do want to recruit and grow a team?
Yeah, so going into recruitment, for me, I kind of see it as I'm helping people in a way. I've seen so much growth in myself these past few years through door-to-door and just what my company has offered me, that I feel that it's within myself to share like my experience and how it's like completely changed my life with other like-minded individuals that could have been going through the same, financial hardships I was going through at the age of 19. So when I go into recruitment now, it's finding those passionate, hardworking individuals that have, the same drive, but also just being able to align, everything that has been great from the door-to-door community into their lives.
No, and that makes total sense. Like just making sure that things like align with their purpose and their whys and their visions. But what are some ways that you go about like recruiting? Do you just share a lot of your stories on social media? Like what would be the first steps or like advice that you would give someone? Like where do you start? Like where does one go to start recruiting?
Right. So going into that, the first thing I started doing was honestly sharing my story, sharing what I was passionate about. I saw the vision through door-to-door pest control sales, and I saw what it could bring you.
Yeah.
And I just started sharing my story with the people around me, and people follow influence. And when people see things that influence them, it gets them interested. So the past 4 years, I've been sharing my story, and it's crazy to see, my friends wanting to get into the industry because of the stories that they've seen.
Yeah. And I was just having this conversation with some of my leadership like the other day, and, it's just kind of like, oh, we don't have any friends. We don't talk to anyone, about recruiting or anything like that. And for me, it's not something that, I feel like I'm the best at, but exactly like what you said, like all I've ever done was just share my story. And I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have found me if I wasn't sharing my stories on social media. And I feel like, if it wasn't for my brother's company, like managing my team, and I met my social media page and sharing my stories and things like that, I wouldn't have met people like you. And so for those of you women out there who have found a bit of success in the door-to-door space and you truly are wanting to grow or move up or begin a team or just anything, like you do not realize the power of sharing a story, like just sharing your experience. And obviously we have to have good experiences, but there are a ton of shitty experiences that we have here too. How, like this past year, what are some struggles that you have had on the doors? I know a lot of us women, we kind of deal with our emotions and then like running a team at the same time. How have you been able to overcome like the types of emotions that we as women feel while we're on the doors?
Yeah, so this past summer, just going into leadership and management, it was honestly very stressful at times. And I can be definitely an emotional person, especially just in this industry. There's a lot of emotions that come and go.
Yeah.
But honestly, through this experience, there were those ups and there were those downs.
Yeah.
But what I found was just growth, like being able to better like my mindset and control my emotions. And I started to realize, when my emotions dipped throughout the summer, but I also had, a whole team of sales reps that were really pushing me to be my best and like always, perform at my best. So it really helped like mitigate my emotions as well. Yeah. Just because I knew, I have to be 100% for my guys that are out here as well. It can be hard though at times.
Yeah.
That's honestly why at the end of the night, that's typically when the emotions tend to come out, when I have my alone time.
Yes, alone time being a big thing. I had someone reach out to me the other day, and she texted me and was like, hey, do you ever feel like that you just have to be alone, like while running a team, that you just have to be by yourself? And I'm like, people don't see it, but legitimately in my calendar, I will plan alone time, whether it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes. I'm at a park eating my lunch or I'm FaceTiming my kids. But for those of you women out there who are running teams or feeling like that you're just super overwhelmed, just know that you aren't alone. That there are so many of us women in this space who feel just as overwhelmed as you, but we don't talk a lot about it in social media. Right. We're not talking a lot about like what's happening behind closed doors, in our offices and in company trainings, but we're out there finding alone time. We are out there hiding. We are out there crying. We are out there sobbing with you.
Yes.
People just aren't talking about it. So I love that you said that you were found time for your alone time. So do you, for you to be able to help you in like leadership and growth, like what do you feel like is helping you get to the next level? Are you involved in any like coaching program, or do you have like any mentors? Like how are you feeling like you're growing or you're moving up, or it's just kind of like your company trainings and things like that?
Right. So when I first got into recruitment this past summer, a lot of it derived from wanting to be a student of the game.
Okay.
Just wanting to be in that teacher role, because I knew I was going to pick a lot more things up if I was constantly teaching others, the different skill sets and the different things that we use on the doors.
Yeah.
So a lot of growth just came from becoming a student of the game and having, a team push you to be your best and do your best every single day. But now a lot of it is just looking at the other leaders in the industry around me, and seeing how much change they've brought through their teams and how much growth they've like had through these teams and just the growth that they see in their teams. That's awesome. Really motivates me, and it influences me to want to be my best.
Okay. So for you, the way that you're like growing is basically, just looking at other leaders, just watching them and kind of like following their examples and basically mimicking the success that you see in other people.
Right. A lot of it is when I see successful people, I want to follow their footsteps, especially if it's something that's working.
Yeah.
Because I know my own niches are going to come along the way. I did just enroll into sales coaching and then mental toughness training this past month, though.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. I feel that I'm pretty tough-minded right now, but I feel like there's always room for development, and I'm really excited to utilize these things I learned during the off season into this next season.
I'm so inspired by you, Emily. At 23 years old, having managed to did you have a co-manager last year, or did you just like run it like all on your own, or did you have someone help you?
So I did have 2 other co-managers with me, and they had their reps out there as well. So it was kind of
you guys got to kind of lean on each other.
Yeah, it was a huge team.
That's awesome. So for anyone who's looking into getting into pest control, or just for women who are just in your situation and have never looked at sales, what would be some advice that you would give to women who's looking into the pest control industry?
Some advice I would give women would be don't be afraid to step into an environment that's male dominated.
Yeah.
Just because the females that I do see in the industry, they're like crushing it. They're doing amazing and they're going places. Whether they stay in door to door or not, they're going places and they make a huge impact in the industry. what I found is the women that I do meet in the industry, they are powerful women as well, and they're women that you want to be around. 1, so if you do meet someone in the industry that's a woman and you're interested in sales, definitely pick their brain about it, because it's definitely an industry women can strive in.
No, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much, Emily. Like, I just have so much love and compassion for the pest control space. It's like where I started. It's basically where I was for like the last 12 years. And I just feel like women and people have started in the pest control space. You just have like a lot of work ethic and mental toughness and things like that. And so just sitting here with you and just feeling your energy and your vibes and actually just watching your journey and what you do, like, props to you. Like, I'm stoked for what you're going to be doing this year. Like, kind of what are some of your goals or your plans that you're hoping to achieve this year in 2023?
Yeah, so some big goals I have for 2023 are actually getting more females within the industry. So we actually have hired a bunch more than this past year that we had. So I'm really excited to, have more females stepping into the industry and to be able to also work and train with them. Oh. And then just some other big goals are, just making sure my reps are hitting their goals.
Yes.
I know I have some young rookies, they're 19, and they have some big goals, and I want to make sure they're hitting their goals.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. And I love hearing you say that you want to help them and make sure that they're hitting their goals. That's definitely one of my biggest goals this year, is making sure that my leadership is attaining all the goals that they want to hit this year. And it's going to take a lot of mental effort
right.
On our leadership, right?
Right.
So thank you so much, Emily, for taking the time to be out here with us like this week. If there's just one piece of advice that you would leave for women in this space before we get off, like, what would that piece of advice be?
Don't be afraid to speak your voice and speak your opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like there's oftentimes we don't speak our voice or opinions when they're needed most.
I love that. Yes. Use your voice out there, ladies. Again, for those of you women or people who are just getting into the door-to-door space or looking at pest control, just know that there's so many people that you can reach out to, including Emily. Go ahead and let us know where people can reach out to you at and what your Instagram handle is. So that way, if anyone is interested in pest control or looking to get into it or wanting to be mentored in any way, shape, or form, they can reach out to you. So give us your info.
Yeah, I would love if anyone wants to reach out to me regarding, pest control or even the industry itself. Yeah. My Instagram handle is just Emily May Rose.
Oh, no, keep going. No.
I'm so sorry. I forgot my Instagram handle.
I know. I forget.
I'm like, oh, no.
So it's Emily May Rose?
Yeah, so it's just going to be Emily May Rose Official. Emily May Rose Official.
Yeah, so it's Emily May Rose. Okay. I know a lot of people get nervous when they get on here, but I promise it's just a cool conversation that people get to listen to.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's it. No. So thanks again, Emily, for being here. And again, those of you people who are looking into the pest control space, if you have any questions or want to get any feedback or anything like that, go ahead and hit up Emily at Emily May Rose Official. See you on the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to tune in. If I've added any kind of value to your thoughts on knocking doors, please share this podcast with another female rep. Until next time, know that you are capable, you are valued, and most importantly, you are enough.